Hello everyone. I am Alice of KHR Arts and Cloud Orchid Publishing, and today we are going to talk about some of the most effective social media platforms to use as an author. Now, there are so many social media platforms, y'all, and it seems like new ones are cropping up every day. In addition to that, it seems like some of them have faded out of existence, as well as some that seem to be on their way out. And then there's just always some new kid on the block creating some new social media that everybody has to get on like yesterday. And it can be really overwhelming to really figure out, okay, I only have so many hours in a day and I only have so many spoons in my emotional drawer to deal with so many social media platforms. And it is important as a creative person to be picky about which social media platforms that you should really build your branding on, simply because exhaustion is a thing and you can't do all of the things all of the time. To begin with, a lot of the big ones that the writing community is really heavy on are Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Reddit. There's so many other social media platforms that I can talk about, y'all, but honestly, these are the big players. And if y'all feel that I am missing a key social media platform, please do tell me in the comments below and let everybody know why y'all think it is such an awesome platform and why all of the writers and authors should get on it ASAP, because I want to hear about it, and I'm sure everybody in the community wants to hear about it as well. But these are the ones that we're going to focus on today and how and why they are important. First and foremost, I know a lot of y'all are probably feeling like, well, Facebook is considered an old person social media platform and that Facebook is dying. And in a certain respect, I will agree with y'all that mainly the people that are on Facebook are boomers, Gen X, and millennials. You don't really see Gen Z on Facebook, and it's honestly dwindling in its usability because unfortunately Facebook has very much become a pay-to-play platform. And what this means is that in order to get any sort of traction, you really need to know how to bend the algorithms to your will, as well as you really need to pay a lot of money in order to make your Facebook ads really go anywhere. Now, I do have in some of my other videos where I've talked about some tips and tricks about marketing and how to get the most out of your energy and the most bang out of your buck. So please do look at those, especially for tips on how to do that specifically on Facebook. But for now, we're going to talk about why exactly you still probably want Facebook on your roster, even though it's not capturing Gen Z, and even though it is kind of on its way out. The biggest reason why Facebook is still such a powerhouse social media platform is for the simple fact that so many people are still on it. Even if it's not really gaining new users of the new generation, there are still a lot of people on it that exist, and a lot of people where that's part of their daily routine is that they check Facebook all the way up to the people where they basically live on Facebook all day. And depending on what genre of readers you're trying to reach, what your audience is, maybe your audience is the older variety. Facebook is where you're going to find them. So you have to go where your audience is pay attention to who the audience is that you're trying to market your book toward and make sure you're going to where that audience is. And especially on Facebook, you're going to get a lot of people who are interested in fantasy, sci-fi, and romance. That's where a lot of those big markets is on Facebook, and it's a great tool to reach them if you know how to use it correctly. Facebook is also a really good platform to use if you are trying to do any sort of event planning. So this means if you are going to be on a panel at an event, or if you are trying to put together a release party, or insert any sort of event here that you are trying to put together in order to promote your books, Facebook is going to be a really great platform for that. And that is because of the way it's built, in that it actually has event pages that you can put together and invite people to and all that jazz. It's still really, really helpful for that. Unfortunately, unless you're a big corporation or somebody who has money to burn, the Facebook pages are really not very useful anymore. I simply maintain mine out of, well, they're there and I may as well maintain them, and every once in a while I get a hit on them. So it's a very minimal effort on my part, kind of a, I'm just going to keep turning the crank because every once in a while something falls out, but don't exactly go and create an entire Facebook page and create an entire marketing campaign around it, because you're really not going to get much for your effort unless you have a ton of money to spend on advertising for that Facebook page. For people who already have established Facebook pages and have been turning that crank, you can pretty much do what I do, which is just the par for the course. You don't really need to put in new, renewed effort into it because the audience just isn't really there. Now, where is the audience, you may ask? It's in groups. It's in Facebook groups. And you want to make sure that you are a part of the groups, again, where you're reaching your audience. So make sure you're a part of the sci-fi groups or the fantasy groups or the romance groups or even just the general reading groups and writing community groups and all of that. Make sure you're in the correct groups and you're following the rules in order to best promote your brand and your books to reach your readers. That is where you're really going to find your bread and butter on Facebook, is groups and the event planning. That's where you're going to find it. But other than that, yeah, I'd have to agree. Unfortunately, Facebook is kind of a dying dinosaur. It's really not worth investing a whole lot in, especially if you are at this moment currently building your branding. You haven't gotten an established brand yet. I really would put minimal effort in. Twitter is the next social media we're going to talk about, and oh my goodness, y'all, this one is a powerhouse for the writing community. It is rather surprising if you are not well versed in the writing community yet, but oh my goodness, will you be once you get on Twitter. The writing community on Twitter is massive, and it is growing, and it is strong, y'all. One of the big things that you're going to benefit from if you invest your engagement and your efforts on Twitter is the follow trains. There is massive community support on Twitter in the writing community, and you definitely want to jump on that train. There are trains literally almost every day of the week. I personally recommend the weekend ones. You get the most bang for your effort. And again, I talk more about this in my marketing videos for more in-depth about these strategies. However, Twitter is definitely a platform that you really want to invest your time and effort in, and you can do it all without spending a buck. Twitter does now have where you can invest in paid ads, but honestly, unless you're a big name and you can afford that kind of cash, I don't recommend it. You can just as easily get massive following and massive engagement from just having well-planned marketing campaigns and making the effort to make sure, and this is a big one, engaging with the community. Make sure you're actually taking the time to put in that engagement in order to earn that return. So, Twitter, big seller. Make sure you're on there, and make sure your books are on there, and make sure you're promoting everything, and make sure that you are putting out a positive presence on Twitter, because it is easy to get sucked into the troll dens and to really spiral your brand out of control in negative ways. So make sure that you are posting and engaging in the right ways. The next social media platform I want to talk about is a little bit more controversial and people are really split on it, is TikTok. I'm going to go ahead and put the disclaimer on there that I personally am not on TikTok, and it is for purely personal reasons. It has nothing to do with marketing strategy. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I personally don't like TikTok. On a personal level, I just don't like the platform. I don't like how it works. I don't like what it's about. I really don't like the controversy around it. And I just don't like the way that the majority of the TikTok community behaves on TikTok. I have read countless articles about a lot of the negative undertow that is on TikTok, and that is a thing that you will definitely have to deal with if you decide to include TikTok in your wheelhouse of social media platforms to promote your brand on. Is there's just going to be a huge influx of people who are just going to be mean to you. just for the sake of being mean to you. That's just a big part of TikTok, unfortunately, and there's really nothing you can do to escape it. It's just something you're going to have to deal with. So keep that in mind if you do put this brand in your wheelhouse, is it's going to require a lot of mental effort in order to deal with that, and not everybody has the spoons to deal with that, as well as it means that you're going to have to be really creative in how you present your brand and how you deal with engagement on there. What I can tell you is that TikTok is a massively growing platform. It's growing every day because it is considered the young people's social media platform. So kind of the opposite of Facebook, if you will. And again, you need to go where your audience is. So if you are writing middle grade, young adult, children's, etc. type of books, you need to go where your audience is, and that is TikTok. That's where all the young people are, and all of that. That's where Gen Z is. That's where all the kids are. If that's your audience, then that's where you really need to reach them. And make sure that you're not the cringe old person trying to make yourself blend in with the young people. That is not how to properly use the platform. Make sure that you are authentic to yourself and authentic to your brand. It is okay to jump on a lot of the trends that happen on TikTok. In fact, it is vastly encouraged in order to grow your brand. However, make sure you are putting your own unique branding spin on it. Don't try to pretend you're 12, because you're not, and you're not fooling anybody. And that's, again, a negative way to impact your brand. So make sure you're staying true to yourself and just have fun with it. A big thing to note that I have found in a lot of articles that I've read about TikTok, because even though I personally don't use it and I personally don't like the platform, I feel it's very important to be informed about it. And if I decide to change my strategy, as much as it would behoove me to, but if I choose to, I want to stay informed because this is such a monolith of a platform. Is that another thing to consider is that TikTok has zero sense of community. Now, what this means is that because of the way the platform is set up, people support content, not the creators. Most of the TikTok famous people on TikTok have thousands, sometimes even hundreds of thousands, even millions. Some even have millions of followers and viewers and just people that consume their content. However, in a real world setting, most of these TikTok famous people don't actually have any real community support. This means that if they go to an event, most likely they're not going to be recognized, or even if they are, it ends there. They don't really get any sort of support in terms of people actually buying their merch or buying whatever it is they're selling. So keep that in mind, that TikTok is not a direct to sale platform. It is a place for building your brand. The goal with TikTok is to amass a massive following as fast as possible and do your best to convert that following into taking it off platform to other platforms. That is the goal of TikTok, is, hey, if you like my TikTok content, go here to also get this, that, and the other. You want them to convert to other platforms. That's how that platform works. So make sure you keep that in mind with your branding strategy, because the chances of you directly selling books on TikTok is going to be very minimal compared to what you can do directly on other platforms. The next platform I want to talk about is YouTube, and by a certain extent, Twitch. Now, I know what y'all are thinking. I write books. I don't create videos. Why do I need to be on either of these platforms? These are video media based. And the answer is because, honestly, in our day and age, video is king in terms of advertising and branding. Photos will only get you so far. Video is what people consume the most when it comes to any sort of content on any social media platform. Think about it the same way that, what do we do all day? We watch TV. We watch commercials on TV. That's a video media. People consume video media over anything else. Now, how do you harness video media in order to sell your, whether it's print and paper books or your ebooks on Kindle or otherwise? Right here, y'all. This right here that I'm doing right here, this is what you do. This is what I've built with my particular brand, is that I do these Q&A style, giving y'all advice, giving y'all behind the scenes look on my work, all that kind of stuff. I create these kind of videos on here. There are a lot of other authors and writers that have all their own kinds of branding with creating videos. You just have to find what works for you, as well as what exactly is the type of content that is going to excite you and make you willing to put forth the effort. There are those creators who use this platform as a means of interviewing people, sort of podcast style, where they will find other writers and other authors to interview about their work, as a means to also give back to the community and engage with the community, which is a really great way to grow your brand and grow your audience. There are also people that do it workshop style, where they basically put out specific how-to tips on different aspects of writing. I do that a bit on here, but it's not the main focus, whereas some people have that as the main focus of their channel, and they also do workshop style, where they sometimes put out prompts, or sometimes they'll even have YouTube lives where they will have live workshop audiences with people and will actually help them workshop their writing. There's so many different ways you can use this platform, and the reason why I say to a lesser extent also Twitch is because Twitch embodies all of the live elements of video. So a lot of people also do the interview style and the workshop style types of videos live on Twitch. Some of them do convert over to YouTube as recorded edited content, but not always. So YouTube and Twitch kind of go hand in hand here with how exactly to use video media content on video media platforms such as YouTube and Twitch. Definitely not a platform you should ignore. It is super useful, even if it's something as simple as just doing recordings of you doing readings of your book, or just doing video pitches, anything like that. Every little bit helps, and it is definitely a platform that you really should get on and not ignore. Now, Instagram is a little bit tricky as a platform specifically for writers and authors, because if you're not yet a published author where you can be like, look at my shiny book with the beautiful cover art and la la la, it can be a little bit hard for you to translate, well, I'm working on this book right now and that's just a bunch of text. How do I translate that into photos and videos, which is the main type of content that people use Instagram in order to consume? Now, there are some accounts where they are text-only accounts, and what that is they basically create, whether they're graphics or they're screenshots or whatever, but it's just portions of text as their post, images of text, whether it's a section of their work in progress or it's like quotes of the day or whatever. I can honestly tell y'all, the majority of those type of accounts don't really go anywhere. People don't really find that very interesting to consume on Instagram. They're really just not successful accounts, and they're just really not worth the effort. If it's something that you just want to do just for yourself, just for fun, then by all means go for it. But it's not exactly a good strategy to use in order to help build your branding and at the end of the day build your audience and sell books. So I'm not trying to throw any shade or any hate on anybody who runs any of those kind of accounts, and there are some that are wildly successful. It's just definitely not a likely scenario. It's very hard to make one of those accounts very successful and have high engagement. It's just, quite frankly, not worth the effort, especially as a creative person. You probably have 1,001 other things to do. How do I convert this into videos and photos? Well, the answer is you have to be okay with taking pictures of yourself, taking pictures of your space, taking pictures of stuff associated with your life. And there are a lot of people who are still very private about their life, private about their physical appearance and all that, which can make Instagram basically impossible to use. And to be quite honest, you're going to find it very hard to engage on any social media platform if you are that private of a person. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that you're going to face a lot more challenges in growing your audience and building your brand and ultimately selling your books. And to each their own. Everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own challenges. I'm just letting y'all know now, if you're a part of that, you're going to face way more challenges. So that is something to consider with this, especially if you are trying to cross the threshold of writing is something that's a hobby that you just do it because you love it, and writing because you want to grow an audience and sell books. So, yeah, that's kind of where the fence is on that. What I mean by this is, okay, when you want to talk about, I'm working on my writing today, you can post a picture of you in your space where you write, whether that's at your computer at your desk, or that's at your laptop at your favorite cafe, or pencil and paper in hand in your bedroom or in your living room or outside in a beautiful setting, whatever. Taking pictures of that and being like, I'm working on my writing today, I'm working on my writing today, whatever. People love those kind of photos because it's a little like behind the scenes peek, and people love feeling like they're in the know on those kind of things. Also, showing your beautiful face makes a big difference on platforms, especially on Instagram. People prefer pictures and videos that show people's faces. The exception being, of course, if you have adorable animals, people will 100% of the time prefer to see the adorable animal and not your pretty face. And case in point of that, my cat Squishy officially has more followers than I have on all of my platforms combined. And he's a cat, just existing, not doing anything special, not doing any tricks, just existing. If y'all have a pet, absolutely make that a part of your branding on Instagram. Instagram is king when it comes to adorable animal content. So if you have an animal, absolutely have that be a part of your branding. Be like, this is my writing buddy, or oh, my cat or my dog or my bunny or whatever decided to be a part of things and hang out with me while I'm doing my writing today. Absolutely use that where you can, because I can guarantee you people will never get tired of seeing your pet. People always want to see the pet. Of course, once you are published and you have shiny, beautiful books to show off, that makes creating this content a lot easier because you can show off the book itself. People, especially, they're called bookstagram accounts, love to show off bookshelves of books, showing off particular books in beautiful settings, such as artfully arranged backgrounds for them, showing off different stacks of books on their to-read list, to-review list, whatever, showing off ads with your book, all of that kind of stuff. It becomes a lot easier to have that photo and video content. Some people even go so far as to create commercials for their books, and that they actually, whether it's they hire actors or they get a bunch of friends together with their phone, or even if they purchase stock video footage and put that all together themselves, whatever. There are some people that do take on those massive projects of creating commercials in order to give kind of a real world clip of what you can expect when you read their book. And that is definitely a high tier project. It's definitely not for everybody, but it is something that is going to really help your branding and really grow your audience, because everybody likes that. The last one that I'm going to talk about, y'all, is again another controversial one for some of the same reasons as TikTok, but you know, it's also its own animal, is Reddit. So this is also another one that I personally do not care for Reddit, and this one is actually because of using the platform myself, not just personal, I don't like this type of reasons. It's I attempted to use it and I had a bad time and decided it was not worth my time and effort to use this particular platform. However, I do know several writers and authors who are very successful on Reddit, so absolutely do not discount how important this social media platform can be in your branding strategy. The difference between Reddit and TikTok is that Reddit is 100% able to be a direct-to-consumer platform, in that there is massive community on Reddit where you can harness that and directly be like, buy my book. You can totally do that. However, the dichotomy of Reddit, it is both very high community, but at the same time very anti-community, and that's the rub where I just didn't fit in, is Reddit is this contradictory animal where the users will demand content, but then get angry at content creators. And well-known author and game creator Neil Litherland, it will absolutely shout from the heavens how frustrating this is on Reddit, and he talks about it a lot in a lot of his Facebook posts and a lot of his articles, is that there's this weird sort of attitude on Reddit where they want to consume content, but how dare you advertise content to them? It's very bizarre. Basically, there's a lot of rules on the different subreddits, and the way that the rules are enforced are oftentimes very subjective and can be very sexist and unfair. And part of the reason why I left the platform, because there were a lot of times where I was doing literally the exact same thing as Neil, and he was getting applauded for it, and I was getting yelled at and told I was breaking the rules, and how dare I advertise things. And unfortunately, as I talk about in one of my other videos, sexism and misogyny is alive and well in the writing community, and a lot of times women are punished in the writing community, and it sucks, but I digress. So definitely it can be a minefield to deal with Reddit, but the reward can be worth the effort. So it all has to do with how well you can navigate the controversy and the contradictory attitude that is Reddit, as well as, I will go ahead and say, I'm sorry, but if you're not a cis male, you're probably gonna have a difficult time, unless you can specifically find subreddits that are far more supportive of non-cis male people. You're going to have a hard time. So just putting that flag out there so that you can make an informed decision, you're going to have an uphill battle with that, especially with a lot of the writing platform. Still do, unfortunately, have a lot of those attitudes, whether subconscious or consciously attached to them. There are, as I said, so many other platforms out there, y'all, and I know some of them can be used absolutely to your benefit. Please tell me in the comments below if there are other platforms that you prefer to use and how you've had success on them. I would love to hear it, and I know everybody else would love to hear it too. And as I said, there's always new and upcoming platforms which should be examined, never ignored, and decide for yourself whether or not investing in them is worth it. Be sure to tell us all the cutting-edge platforms you've heard of in the comments below, because I'm always up for learning a new trick. I want to thank y'all so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please be sure to give it a like, and if you're new, subscribe. Alright, y'all, thank y'all so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.